Hello and welcome to Soul in Balance, the place to get your regular solar system news. And as always, if you'd like to stay up to date with the cosmic weather, make sure you subscribe. So what is going on? We have the full moon in Aquarius that will be happening on the 15th of August at 10:29 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. Now it is a time of coming into our heart and really coming into our heart, not just looking at love from a bird's eye view or being a little bit detached because we don't want to get hurt or we don't want to get too attached to things. We really might be facing childhood trauma of where we learnt not to trust. We could be facing, past relationships where, we've put our heart on the line and we've been hurt before. And now we're really being called to really just process that stuff. Let go of that old age stuff that we've been carrying around, coming into a new perspective of the heart and being open from the heart. And, it can be really hard for some of us, me personally as well. Like the last few days, I've really had to go over, my issues with this, my trust issues and how I don't fully put my heart into relationships because of, what's happened to me. And there's so many others in the same boat, but it's a time for really, being in a place of innovation of the heart, as we do have the ruler of this full moon in Taurus, and then the ruler of Taurus is in Leo with the sun, and this is opposite the full moon as well. So it really is revolutionizing our heart and understanding that what's happened in the past is gone. It no longer exists, and we now need to just fully step into our heart and be open to love. Some of us have been blocked and closed off from love for such a long time. Maybe some of us have never really let love in. And we could be having new relationships that are coming in, new soulmates and new divine partners. And in some way, we're kind of keeping them at a distance because it's just like, oh no, I've been hurt before. And if I just stay a little bit apart, then, I won't get hurt again. But it's not a time for that. Because whatever we put out is what we're going to get back. And if we don't express our true feelings, and now that we have Mercury direct and in Leo, it is about expressing our true feelings and being vulnerable, being able to be vulnerable. And I personally know how hard this is myself. So yeah, it really is just a time of expressing our heart and living in our heart, whatever it is. There is a major emphasis on relationships, but it also means, our career and our creativity as well. We're needing to let go of our old structures that we see in Capricorn, like with, having structures and being a little bit detached. And this is how it's always been for generations and generations, that we just work at this status quo way of love. And this is not how it's going to roll anymore. We need to be fully in our heart space if we want to experience that love that we've always wanted. So definitely at this time, if you are in a position or you're facing situations where you're really having to just face that fear, just walk through that fear. Keep going. If you want the divine love that you've always been searching for, that you've always hoped for, this is the time to do it. And it isn't easy. None of this work is easy, but it is worth it. It is worth it. And no matter what happens, you will always be protected and supported. Even if things do go bad down the track, at the end of the day, we all have some kind of support system or some kind of network that does support us when things do go wrong. So why not put your heart out there? Why not take that chance? If you are already in a relationship and, you've been faced with past fears, it's the same process, letting go of that old stuff. A lot of us in long-term relationships in relationships from an old mindset point, and it's time to revolutionize our heart, have a fresh start in our relationships. So yeah, definitely it's a time for relationships right now. So stay tuned and I'll bring you the rest of the video. Okay, so full moon in Aquarius. Now, alrighty, so let's have a look at Aquarius. Aquarius is the revolutionizer, it's the rebel, it's radical change, it's evolution, it's the humanitarian. So it's like, why would we be letting go of those things if we're in the age of Aquarius? But the thing is, Aquarius can be too detached. It can be too cold. It can be too spaced out. So what we're needing to do is bring it back to earth, bring it back to our heart. And that is what this full moon is doing. It really is bringing it back to where we need to be and how we're going to be able to move forward with love and be happy. And the degree for this full moon is 22 degrees of Aquarius. And if we have a look at the Sabian symbol for this degree, so we have a rug is placed on the floor of a nursery to allow children to play in comfort and warmth. Key note, the warmth and understanding which comes to those who early in life are open to new possibilities. Through a warm appreciation of basic opportunities and even small comforts, we can safely and happily grow into personal maturity. So again, it's highlighting that we're needing comfort and warmth. And if we stay too detached and out in space and only focusing on our spiritual growth, then we're not going to have that comfort and warmth and support. And you know, for many of us, especially on the spiritual journey, it's very easy to get into the mindset of, you know, just being alone and being in interdependent relationships and, you know, not needing anyone. And, you know, obviously most of the spiritual community have been through some kind of trauma. And that is the reason why, you know, everyone's in spirituality, because, you know, something didn't work and it doesn't make sense. So we've all had to seek higher knowledge. And then when we're too fixated on that higher knowledge, too all about evolution, we forget that we're actually here to be a human. You know, we're all souls. We all have this innate, you know, wisdom and evolution within us. It's just that we've chosen these circumstances. We've chosen to come here to experience love, pain, trauma, you know, not trusting and all those types of things. We've come here to work through that and to forgive and to love and come from our heart, you know, be in a position of unconditional love. And I understand that it can be really difficult to kind of bring ourselves back into our heart after we've kind of been ripped out of it and been brokenhearted, and we've used, you know, spirituality as like a you know, a lifesaver. You know, it can be difficult to then come back in. So, you know, personally, I understand this 100% myself. But if we look at you know, the aspects of Aquarius, if we look at it, say, like a tree, and the tree reaches out to the sky, and then as it evolves, it grows more. But then the roots are also majorly important. Without a good root system, without that, you know, if we think about watering a tree, that's emotions, that's love, putting it in sunlight so it gets the correct sunlight so it can grow properly. The roots are the main structure of that tree. So if we look at, say, the tree branches to spirituality and the roots as the foundation, we need that love, support, union and care to be for those branches to be able to grow. I'm not saying stay in toxic relationships, because those things do more harm than good, but at the end of the day, they're all still a lesson in self-worth, a lesson in boundaries. So definitely at this time we can be seeing new relationships that are soulmate relationships, or relationships that we've been in for a long time that can be transformed, or we can be in relationships that are just completely dysfunctional and we're going against our core beliefs and our core interests and where we're going in life. And you'll know what this is if you are still repeating patterns of going for the same person and the same situations and doing the same things. These are the ones that have to go. So So you could be, in a new romance where you've chosen a partner that is completely different to what you have chosen in the past. You've gone for someone that is actually your friend. You've gone for someone that you actually have a laugh with, and someone that you get along really well, and someone that you trust. These are the types of things we need to be moving into, not that kind of toxic, addictive kind of love that isn't really love. It's just there to bring about quick union, so then we can transform and heal what needs to be processed. And especially with Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn, ending cycles. That is what we're doing. We're ending cycles. So at the same time, we are having soulmate relationships and divine partnerships and radical change and transformation in our relationships, but we've also got karmic situations coming through as well. So we need to be mindful of that. But at the end of the day, it really is about coming into our heart space. And even if it is a karmic relationship, you still need to be in your heart space anyway, because you need to choose what is best for you. 100%. We can't be choosing partners that don't serve us. On an emotional level, especially how Mercury is back in Leo, has been retrograde in Cancer, finding out the emotions, finding out what works, finding out what we need to move forward. So honestly, at this time, if we're not expressing ourselves, if we're not living in our heart space and honoring what we really want, this is when Uranus, that is going retrograde, will just be this lightning bolt of just chaos, where it's just not going to work anymore, and we're needing to end relationships or end cycles. And it is really difficult, but I think the safest way to move through this energy is to be in our hearts, because this is what's going to show us where we need to go. If we think about what a lion is, the lion is proud. The lion shares its love. The lion knows who he is and what he wants. And if we know who we are and what we want, and we be our authentic self without caring about what anyone thinks, we will attract the right partners. So we really need to be, reflecting on, are we honoring our feelings and emotions? And especially with the North Node in Cancer, it really is highlighting our feelings. Our feelings are the number one factor right now. So yes, I think if we can, just pour our heart out in a way, express how we really feel, put ourselves in a vulnerable position where, hey, we might be hurt. But at the same time, we're doing our partners a disservice if we don't express how we really feel, because then our partners won't express how they really feel. And I've noticed this within my own life, that if I really express how I really feel from such a heartfelt, emotional level, it is so well received. I've always thought that I had to kind of play it cool a little bit and just kind of be a little bit detached and, say what I want or say what's upset me, and hoping that it worked out better that way. And it never did. It never fixed the situation, or it never really got to the core of what I needed. And, all I've done the last few years is just say how I really feel. This is how I really feel, and this is what I want. And the right people, will stay, and the right people will make it work with you, and the right people will respect you. And the people that don't, they're the people that aren't a part of your journey. So it really is a benefit for everybody to be in their heart space. And not to mention that, just in creativity in general, think about the creative possibilities and what you can achieve when you're in your heart space. When you're coming from a place of, I'm this creative being and I've come on the planet to create. This is what's going to help you step into your power, for one, and then live the life you've always wanted to live. So yeah, definitely this time, if we can really just come into the aspects that are in Leo, which we have Mercury, Venus, the Sun, and Mars, and We also have a yod, which is the finger of God, that the release point actually is in Leo with Venus and the sun. So again, it is highlighting this need to follow our heart, to be in our heart. So yes, this is what we need to be doing right now. So with all the fire going on right now, because Leo does represent a fire sign, and we have just had Jupiter go direct, and Jupiter in Sagittarius is also a fire sign, and it really is amplifying the purification that really needs to be taking place, a fire purification. And it made me think of this amazing card in the oracle deck that I have, and I just want to quickly read to you the purification of fire, and which I think we all need to be doing at this time. And it might be something that's good to do as a ritual for this full moon, or something that you can just work on in your own time. So it's got purification, fire, bare essentials, the naked truth, wholeness. What is it that your heart truly desires? What do you perceive is missing in your life? In order to find the answers, you must look inside your heart. You already know this, but when you are reluctant to look because part of you fears what your heart is trying to tell you, the only way forward is to face your fear. Something in your life is not working out as you would have liked, and it's not going to get any better unless you have the courage to face it. Close your eyes and relax. Imagine a beautiful flame warming your heart and soul. Feel its purifying and healing light burning away your fears, doubts, and healing your body, mind, and clearing away the obstacles, either imagined or real. Feel your heart center as endless space of love and light. Feel the peace and safety in internal space. Now, what is your heart saying? When it brings a tear to your eye, you will know it is your truth. Your soul will guide you towards happiness. All you need to do is follow and trust. And that is exactly what we need to be doing right now, is just moving through that fear of being hurt, that fear of being abandoned, that fear of trust, and being hurt and just being led down the garden path, or being hurt like you've been hurt in the past. We need to be moving through that fear because we've done so much work on ourselves. All those pains and mistakes and the wrong directions that we've done when we were younger or when we were children, we had no control. That's not right now. And if you've been doing the work, you're not in that position anymore. You love yourself more. You have more boundaries, and you know what works and what doesn't. So it's time to just purify those old fears and move into your heart and to trust. And all you can do is just trust and follow. So I just wanted to quickly highlight that, it might be good to do some kind of fire ritual for this full moon, purifying those feelings and just being in your strength. Because if we look at, say, the tarot card, it's the woman closing together the lion's mouth, and she's gently doing it because she's trusting. So I think at this time is just to be in our strength and just to know that we will get through whatever we have to face. And Jupiter has just gone direct, and then he's just going to expand on what we want. So if we have, creative ideas, or if we want to step into our future and what we really want, now is the time to do it. Let go of your old fears. And it can be a time of feeling like you're not ready, you don't have all the information, you haven't got enough experience, or, how are you going to be received? It's the time for just trusting, just like blind faith, just getting that idea out there and just doing it, because it's all a journey. It's all about learning. Just recently for me, I submitted a video into a new TV program that I wanted to be a part of. And for 2 months, I literally sat there and thought, oh my God, I don't have enough experience. I don't have enough knowledge. I'm not ready. But you're never going to be ready. What is the saying? Start before you're ready. I just did it. I just did the video and just let it go, sent it off, because I know that I'll never feel like I'm gonna be good enough or ready enough or whatever it is. So I suggest, if you're in that position as well, if you want to start a new business idea or whatever it is, you know, a creative venture or whatever it is, just start, because we're never fully ready, and it's all a journey. That journey is part of the creativity, you know. So yeah, I just wanted to quickly say that though, but yeah, it's about kind of purifying and just getting back to the basics, letting go of all the old and just putting our ideas out there. Jupiter is direct. Jupiter's going to expand on whatever we want, and it's the planet of luck. It's the big gas giant in the universe, in our sky. So yeah, just put it out there, put your stuff out there, and just trust. Okay, so I'm going to do get a couple of cards for this full moon in Aquarius. So I'm going to get 3 cards like I did last video, because that seemed to work out well, actually. I had a few people say, yeah, getting 3 cards was better. So I was like, all right, cool, I'll do that. But yeah, I hope everyone's going well at this full moon. It is a bit of a radical time, like, ooh, just all the revolutionizing that is going on, and just like striking events is just like, ah. But then at the same time, you know, if you think about it, it's been like such a really pleasant time, like a time just to feel loved and to love yourself. I know I definitely have, but then I've got Venus in Leo, and I've just had my Venus return, so it was just like, oh my god, I'm the happiest I've ever been. Oh man. But no, I honestly hope everybody is doing really well, and please put in the comments of how you're going and how you're surviving and how your full moon is going. So yeah, hopefully a card wants to come in. Oh my god, I've got them all falling out for the other deck, but this one is always super slow. And you know what's funny? It's actually I think it's the Rebel deck. Ooh. Yeah, Sacred Rebels. All right, so I've got 6 cards, so each 3 decks pulled out 2 cards. All righty, so firstly, we have healing, reconnecting to your true nature. We have 9 of Hearts, fulfillment, harmony, and protection. We have be fearless, transformation, inspiration, and collaborating, dreaming. Okay, so alrighty, we have, first up, we've got healing, reconnecting to your true nature. It is a time of healing. It is a time of really coming into our true nature, which is our unconditional love, which is our heart. Everything revolves around our heart and our heart energy. So coming back into this place is going to be what the healing is. Because when we are living in our heart, we are happier than ever. Everything is just like a honeymoon. So yeah, if we really want that healing, it really is going in and facing your fears. And in relationships, if you're with the right person, that person will help you through that. And I've noticed at the moment, you know, a lot of people that are having to express how they really feel and, you know, really go into their fears, that the new partners that they're with, or their, you know, their partnerships that they're already in, their partners are really just stepping up and being present and helping in the process of healing. So definitely, yeah, being in our heart space and connecting to our true nature is going to be what is the most healing at this time. And then we have the 9 of Hearts, fulfillment, harmony, and protection. And again, it's about being in the heart. Like, we are all divinely protected. And I think it also comes from our belief systems as well. I've been talking about the last few weeks about doing reprogramming the mind, how the conscious mind runs the show. And we could be reading all the books out there about being positive, being in our heart space and not being negative and trusting and all those types of things. We can doing that work till the cows come home, but we really need to be reprogramming the subconscious mind, because they're all our outcomes. Probably 95% of our outcomes come from our subconscious programming, which is the first 7 years of our lives, and how the mother was feeling when she was pregnant with us, the last trimester. That sets us up for our mental patterning, our emotional patterning, our default feelings and thoughts. So if we really want to be stepping into our heart right now, it really is going to help if we start reprogramming our mind. Like, get up first thing in the morning, start listening to beautiful music, and say the things that you want to start seeing in your life. It could be, I trust, I'm loved, I'm supported, all my creative ventures are successful. Whatever it is, we really need to be stepping into this. And if we think about number 9, 9 is the number of wisdom. It's the number of higher education. It really is, about fulfillment and being in a place of harmony. So definitely, it's all just heart energy right now. Okay, so we have be fearless. Be fearless like a lion right now. So the lion is proud and brave and strong. So I think we just need to be fearless, and especially with Jupiter now going direct, and then all this energy in Leo, it's just about being fearless. It's just about following our heart and just not caring, having our mind set on something, and just being true to ourselves. Because when we're true to ourselves and we are in a fearless state of mind, most of the times we get what we want, we get our desired outcome. So definitely just be fearless. Like, don't care about what anyone thinks. Start that project. Don't wait any longer, because we're never going to be ready. So just be fearless and understand that, it's part of the creative journey as well. And then we've got, transformation, which is, again, the more we step into our heart space, the more we're going to transform at this time. And with, Pluto and Saturn in Capricorn, and then we've just had Uranus go retrograde, which is also going to, when it does go retrograde, it amplifies, and it's amplifying, that Venus stuff, the heart space stuff, and is revolutionizing how we operate in romance, how we operate in our creativity and in our body and our sensations and what we're comfortable with. So if we really, it really is a time of transformation, transforming that old, throwing off those old layers that need to go. And we're going to be doing it for some time, especially until that conjunction with Saturn and Pluto in January, I think it's 10, 12 next year, which is going to be super intense. But we're just going to be transforming and transforming and transforming. But the transforming that is needed right now is in the heart, is to let go of all that old rubbish, because we have transformed. It's time that we let our heart catch up and, be in the direction that we're going, not holding on to those old beliefs. And then we have inspiration, and hasn't it been an inspirational time? I think when we're in these situations where we're dealing with our old trauma and all the radical stuff that's going on, I think it's a really good way to handle it is just to go into our creativity, go into our inspiration, because when we're in our heart space and we're focusing on what we're passionate about, the other things in our life seem to fall into place. Because when we put too much energy into the negative or the hard things that are going on, then we just see more of it. It amplifies and intensifies, and then it gets worse, and then we don't see the outcomes we want. Instead, put your energy into your creativity and into your inspirations and watch them grow, because the more your life gets better, the more happier you're going to be, because you're coming from your heart, you're creating. We're all here to create, and Leo is about creating. So if you are going through anything right now, there is no point racking your brain over it, doing your head in. You may as well just get into your creativity, get into your inspirations, put in your energy there, create something. And we also have collaborative dreaming. Now, honestly, this is about working with people. It's about coming together and creating something. You know, you could have a creative venture. Like for me, I'm doing moon cycle workshops in Melbourne. And, you know, I have an amazing friend that sells crystals, and I really want her to be a part of it. So, you know, she can work with me selling crystals and then giving people what crystals are recommended for their moon sign or whatever crystals they'd like to buy. But I want to work with Michelle because I think she's amazing. And I think when people come together for the same beliefs and the same cause and the same creativity, that's where the magic is. So if you have any ideas right now and you know other people that are on the same journey as them, just send them a message and ask them. You know, you might be guided by the universe to do that anyway, and you never know what could happen. So I do suggest at this time is to, you know, contact somebody, message someone, say, hey, do you want to work together? I think your work's amazing. I think we could, you know, do something really great together. So it is a time for coming together and creating as a group. And that is what we're kind of being called to do anyway. We are in the age of Aquarius, which is about, you know, community and coming together as a community, as, you know, within humanity. So yeah, coming together and, you know, making something with somebody. And it can even be our partners. It can be involving your partner in your work, doing it together. You know, all this time people have been talking about the twin flame relationships, and they're the only divine relationships where they work together to save humanity. That is just rubbish. You can do that with anyone. It can be with your soulmate, or it can be with someone who's your partner. Involve your partner in your work. Because they're probably the same as you in some way, and they'd probably really love to be a part of what you're doing. So yes, it is definitely a time for working together with people. So I hope that was helpful. So I just want to quickly say that if you've been doing the work, if you've been putting your creativity out there, following your heart, you know, letting go of the old and knowing that you deserve to live the life you've always wanted to live, and especially recently, and started putting those ideas out there, it might feel like, you know, we're just like sitting there waiting for something to happen. It's like, oh, what would you say? It's like a seed being planted. Like, I know last new moon, at the new moon in Leo, I planted some white sage seeds. And, well, I put it in water anyway. And then obviously the roots started growing, and then I planted it. And it's like every day, like I know that the roots have already sprouted, so I know that it's going to grow soon, but it's just like sitting there waiting, looking at this little pot for the white sage. I'm just like, yeah, come on, come on. And I kind of feel like that's how it might feel right now with our creative interests. And, you know, especially if you're somebody that's, you know, been putting yourself out there and, you know, doing the work and, you know, just believing in yourself and, you know, like being of service to others and living in your heart space. You might be sitting there thinking, oh my God, when's it going to sprout? When's it going to take off? But just know that it's going to happen, that if you put that stuff out there, you know, we've had so many great aspects, like we've had the Sun and Venus trining out to Jupiter, and, you know, just so many radical, you know, planetary aspects that are really helping us with luck, being in our inspiration and just divine timing, and, you know, just bringing about what we really want, what our heart really desires. So just know that what you have planted is going to take off. You know, like, don't worry about it. Like I think Louise Hay says, it's like digging in the dirt saying, what's happening? What's happening? Is it going to grow? It's going to grow. So yeah, just don't think about it. I think a lot of aspects, you know, in astrology in relation to Pisces, in relation to Neptune, it's about just getting your idea out there and just forgetting about it. Not even thinking about it. Just, you know, move on to the next project. And I think at this time, don't stress too much about the outcome, because it's going to grow. You're going to see that plant shoot through that dirt. So Yeah, and honestly, I've seen so many amazing people, especially on Facebook, that are starting new businesses, coming from, not believing in themselves to then now just putting out all this content and just, living in their passions. It is absolutely amazing to see. It really does warm my heart. So if you've been doing the work and you're not sure about what's happening, just know that everything is going to sprout very soon. And as the planets move into Virgo, we're going to see that work. We're going to be then doing the work that we've put our inspiration into. So do not worry. Have faith that everything is turning out perfect. But yes, so that is it for me for this video. I do suggest that everybody comes more into their heart space and understand that being detached right now isn't going to work. It just is not going to work. And first and foremost, it's not going to serve you. And it's not going to make you live the happy life that you want. I'm not saying just necessarily always jump blindly into things, but believe that you deserve the best. Believe that you're worth it and you deserve to be happy. So I think if we just be in our heart space and we do the work, we go and we live in our heart, we can't go wrong. So yes, it is definitely a time to do some kind of fire ritual, whether it's you go outside and you have a little fire out there, whether you have some candles in your room or your meditation space, or you light some Palo Santo or white sage, whatever it is. It could even be, writing down all the fear that you have. All the fear you have about connecting to your heart, all the fear you have about connecting to someone else, and all the fear you have about being successful, about, being creative. Write all that down and then just watch it burn. No, it really is a time of purification, just fire purification. And if you can do that at this time and really just connect to the energies that are going on, you're really going to feel part of that change as you step into that new way of being. So yeah, so that is it for me. Please let me know down below how you are going, how this full moon is affecting you and what's worked for you during this energy. If you would like a reading from me, please see my information down below. So I do astrology birth chart readings. If you're in Melbourne, I also do energy healing. If you would like a relationship synastry reading, which is you and your partner's charts together, my information is down below. Other than that, I hope everybody has a fantastic full moon in Aquarius. Many soul journey blessings.